Hello, hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. My name is Penny, and I'm going to be your guide through this unique creative content development process, system, program, all of the above, teaching you how to create more engaging content that you want to post, more remarkable content that you want to share on your sales pages, more content that you know that you feel good about, helping you reach more qualified customers online. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box, you're going to see a couple of links. The first link that you will see is for my book called I Just Did a Thing. And in my book, I go into the detail of all of the science behind why I'm always talking about tapping into your creativity. What's the big deal about focusing on that right brain side when it comes to your content creation? And the second link that you're going to see is so that you can subscribe to the Create Your Business program. And you can personally go through this process, the one that I'm always talking about in all of my videos, about how you can develop remarkable content when you experience the creative activities and tap into that right brain, that right side of your brain. So let's jump into this today. Today's video, we're going to continue on the topic of how to stay consistent with your content creation. And so what I'd like to do is I want to talk to you about how to develop a habit of staying consistent, because it's not just about having a plan. It's not just about thinking about where you're going to post and the things that you want to say. What I want to do is I want to show you how to start to develop a daily content habit, and I'm going to challenge you to see if you can stick with this for 30 days. Because they say that if you can do something for 30 days, it's actually 21 days is the scientific number, but I always like to say 30 days. If you can go a whole month of following through every single day, you, my friend, have developed a habit. And there's nothing better than keeping us consistent with our marketing. Nothing better than making sure that we are able to share our marketing messages than developing a content habit. So what exactly is this idea of a content habit that I'm talking about? So let's start here. Because if the term content creation makes you kind of freak out a little bit, trust me when I say this, you are not alone. Most people think about content as like a task or a project or a thing that pops up again and again. It's something that, you feel this urgency, you get stressed about this. You've got all these other things going on in your world with your business and clients and products and services and all the things that you do that keep your business running. And right there in that long list of priorities is your content creation. And so what I'd like you to do is not to think about it in the sense of, I'm going to create stress, I'm going to freak out about this, but I think it's more accurate and maybe even helpful to actually change your perception of content creation by not thinking about it as a task or another thing that you need to do on your list, but as a habit that you have created. Because when you think about it in this way, content creation is rarely just like a one and done task. So the more that you see it as a habit or even a routine that you do every single day and every single week, the more that you will find opportunities to streamline it, to make it easier for you to do, to make it quicker for you to do, because it is human nature. The more frequently that we do the same habits over and over again, the more that we do the things over and over again, the quicker that we get at that. So I want you to think about it from that perspective rather than, oh my God, it's like one more thing I've got to add to my list. So let's come at it from that perspective versus, something that's going to stress you out. So here's the thing. Let me give you an example here. I actually have a content habit that I do every single day. Every single day, I schedule at least one thing every single day that I know that's going to help me, directly help me with my marketing for my business. A lot of times it's more than just one thing, but I know at the end of the week that if I've done at least one thing, I can review and see how much that I've accomplished. So I always know what's going on with my development projects, and I can always be sure that I'm sharing my marketing messages. And what I do is I've actually set up a habit tracker in the form of the most absolute simplest way possible that anybody could set up a habit tracker. I just go to this amazing website that has all these free calendars out, these really pretty free calendars, and I print out the monthly calendar and I stick it up on my wall, and every day I put notations on it. I can write whether I've uploaded a video to YouTube, whether I've completed a blog, whether I have done some work on Pinterest, whether I am marketing on LinkedIn and I have a LinkedIn group that I'm sharing. Anything that I am doing that is every single day that I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm working, that is directly helping me with my marketing, I put this down on my calendar. So I can actually look at my calendar every single week and I can see the progress that I've made. And it's kind of this thing where, when there's a blank space because maybe I've taken a day off, or maybe I just didn't, or maybe I had like a bunch of meetings and I didn't get a chance to really do the things that I wanted to do. I don't want to say it's not a bad thing when I see it happen, but boy does it pop out on my calendar. And it makes me take a look at, what did I get done this week? And so for me, doing this visual habit tracker is the thing that creates my habit, because I get to see it every single day. I get to see my progress every single day. It's not something that I've got hidden in a file in my computer. It's literally right there on my wall, and I look at it every single day when I sit down at my desk. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about creating a content habit. Because here's the thing about content habits that's so super cool about it. It does set the tone for my day. And I can walk away and I know that I have put time in my week, that I have been creative, I have been inspired, and I know that I'm continuing to be consistent with my marketing messages. And because it helps me stay consistent. It helps me see what I'm sharing on the social platforms, or my other content channels like email marketing. Like I said, I look at my calendar on my wall, and I can see how many times I've posted in LinkedIn. I can see how many videos that I've uploaded to YouTube. I can see how many times that I went into Pinterest and that I added new content to Pinterest and not just reshared some of my old stuff. So what this enables me to do, and how this content habit is working, is not only am I able to see my progress, but it helps me get quicker and faster and streamlines my content process. Because what's happening when I can, the more frequently I do it, the more that I'm finding the steps are the same, and if I can repeat these steps over and over again, I get faster at these steps. Because like I said, it's just human nature. The more frequently that we do something and the more often that we do it, the quicker and the easier it becomes. So I also know with this content habit that I can see the consistent progress. And it's not just my marketing that I'm putting out there on the social platforms, but I also do this with regards to the progress that I'm making on any of my huge content projects. Like when I wrote my book, I used the habit tracker to help me see how much I needed to do, where I was, and that type of thing. And so that created the habit of daily writing. The habit of working on that book was allowing me to see what I needed to do and the progress that I was making and how far along I was. And so I always knew going into it every single day when I was working on the book, what was the project status, the status of the project. That's the word I'm looking for. And so I'll be doing the same thing again. I am working on my next product, which is the content calendar blueprint project. which I'm going to be launching later on this year. And I am now pushing that into my content habit. I actually have my little thing up on the wall right next to my habit tracker is now a checklist for the content calendar blueprint so that I can, again, keep an eye on my progress and know the status of the project right there in front of me, and it's not something, hidden in a binder or stuck someplace in my laptop that I don't even look at, or an app on my phone. So that's one of the things that the really important thing when it comes to creating this content habit, because here's the thing, and this saying is so spot on: practice makes proficiency. And that's the whole point behind having this habit. So I'm guessing by now you're probably going, okay, I get it. I get what you're trying to tell me to do. But how does this whole habit stuff work? How do I even get into this mindset other than, from what you're telling me, print out a calendar and stick it up on my wall and write on it every single day? Because it's more than just that. Trust me. It's taken me more than that. That's just my end result of something I just wanted to share with you, to give you an example of something that you can do right away after you get done listening to this video. So the habit works by this, is that we focus on consistency, not being perfect. Because when you're trying to build a habit, the most important thing is to figure out how to stay consistent with the steps, consistent with the process. And what's going to happen is that you'll start setting up routines, and you'll start setting up like a process that helps you do the thing. And so what I want you to think about is, I want you to think about more about doing the thing versus whether you're doing it correctly. Because if you get so caught up in the fact that it's not perfect, it's not correct, it's this, everybody's doing it this way, this is the way I should be doing it, why aren't I doing it this way? You get yourself so tied up as opposed to getting the thing done. And I would much rather see you get the thing done, especially if it's a new habit and something you've never done before, and you're just now adding this habit tracker into your world. So I want you to think about it from this perspective, that there is no such thing as correct. There is only doing the thing or not doing the thing. That's it. Those are your two choices. And if you're being consistent about doing the thing, then the more frequently that you consider that you keep doing the thing, doing the consistency of doing the habit, doing the content habit, then you can start thinking about whether you're doing it well. And I always say there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just your way. And so I want you to think about, as you're moving through this process and you are creating your own habit, that you set yourself up with some sort of habit tracker, like I just explained to you about the calendar that I have up on my wall. Because the important part of actually forming this content habit happens in the initial stages. And you're going to see that there's going to be like a whole bunch of things that you're going to want to track. It's an easy thing to do on a calendar. You could say, cross the day off, put an X on it, or a check mark, or a smiley face, or, whatever works. That kind of visual representation to show how committed you are. It actually will provide you with an enormous amount of motivation and keep you going even on those days when you're looking at that calendar and you're seeing a blank space because you couldn't get anything done because you were struggling with whatever else you were working on that day. So, if you're a digital person, by all means, try looking for a habit tracker app. I know there's tons of them out there. And you'll be able to see how long your progress is moving forward and how you're getting things done. And so we want to keep thinking about it from that perspective. So start off initially knowing full well that this is going to take you a little bit of time to focus on how to get the habit done. But just know going into that there is no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just your way. And so I want you to always go back to the idea that there's only two options here. It's either doing this thing or not doing this thing. It has nothing to do with being perfect. It has nothing to do with being, this is not the correct way, this is the correct way, this is not the correct way. I don't even want to go there. So the next thing I want you to think about with this content habit is I want you to go wide and then go deep, because it's hard to know whether or not something is working unless you keep doing it. So that means you will more than likely have to plan your way to consistency. You're going to have to experiment your way there. So I want you to think about it from that perspective of casting a wide net, try new steps, test out a new program or an app, anything and everything that you can see that's going to help you learn how to automate your steps and develop your process. You may go into it and realize this program's not working for me, this step's not working for me. So just keep moving through this process. So if I don't use this step, or if I skipped over this step and I use this program instead, this is going to help me. And so what's going to happen is you're going to kind of experiment your way into your routine. But keep trying it. Keep doing all those things that sound interesting. Keep doing testing out new programs, testing out new apps, testing out new steps. Because when you learn about what works, then we're going to end up focusing on doing the steps that are going to help you streamline your process. And the more you keep doing this, and the more that you go wide and then go deep, you're going to do something called, what I like to call, finding your rhythm. And that's what's going to help you stick with it and stay consistent. The more you do this, the more frequently you do this and more consistently you are doing this, you are going to discover your own unique approach to doing the thing that it is you're doing, to posting on Facebook, to writing a blog post, and making sure you've got a video up every single week. And what's going to happen is when you start to develop your own process, something that works for you in the way that you work, you're going to be more able to commit to it and stay consistent. I can honestly tell you, I seriously learned this process the hard way. Initially, I had tried that whole daily posting routine on Instagram because that's what everybody was recommending. And sometimes people were saying, post 2 times a day, post 3 times a day. But I was trying to do daily. And seriously, folks, I was like totally burnt out. And creating new content every single day like that was just so hard. And it was and even though I started to develop a process, write the copy, I was batching things. I was batching copy together. I was batching my images. I was batching the posting so that I could do large chunks of it at once, so it didn't feel like every single day I was having to write new content. There was this cycle that just kept going and going and going. And I got to a point that I went from just repurposing old content to then moving to 3 days a week, to 2 days a week, to once a week. And then that just led to nothing. Because what had happened was I was trying to force myself into thinking that this is what everybody else is doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This was the quote unquote correct thing to do. Air quotes there. And it really wasn't, because it really wasn't for me. And what I learned from that experience is because during the same time that was happening, I was also experimenting with posting one weekly video here on this channel. And I developed my process, and this one clicked with me. This resonated with me because the creating content really just felt like a huge chore on Instagram. And the YouTube channel turned into something that I really genuinely enjoy doing every single week. I find my groove, and because I found my groove and I feel really good about it, I've maintained a consistent schedule. Because what I discovered is that doing video content like this allows me to share more information verbally. I'm a verbal person. If you've spent any time with me, you know I like to talk. And it suits me so much better than just writing some text content and putting an image together. Turns out I'm more into Instagram personally than I am for my business. And you know what, folks? That's okay. It's okay. Because what works for me is doing the video content because I like to sit here at my microphone and have these conversations with you. I like to share this kind of content with you, and it's just not something that I can do in, 2 paragraphs on Instagram. So my advice to you when you're thinking about this as you're moving through this, I want you to know that no matter what you're reading online, no matter who you're following, and no matter what they say, one size does not fit all. I want you to think about what really clicks for you. And you're not going to know what really clicks for you until you go wide and then go deep. So you're going to keep experimenting, just like I learned with Instagram. And when I compare my experience with Instagram versus YouTube. So this is what worked for me, and I'm, again, no way, shape, or form telling you need to get off of Instagram and go straight onto YouTube if you're not into this. I want you to keep experimenting. I want you to figure out what you find works for you and what you can comfortably sustain over time. And see, what's going to happen is the more frequently you do it, the easier it gets, the quicker you get at it, and so it allows you to stick with it. And I get it, things evolve, programs evolve, your life and your business evolve, and that's fine. And you want to be aware of all that. But right now, when I'm out talking to you about developing this content habit, I want you to keep your mind open and be ready to test new waters and to be ready to think about new programs and new processes. Because once it does come into place, it's going to be amazing, and it's going to allow you to be able to stay consistent with your marketing messages and to keep sharing your content online. And so the last piece of this, when it comes to developing a content habit, I want you to think about it also from this perspective. Don't just seek inspiration when it comes to your content creation. Build a habit instead. So a lot of us, I think, when we get started with our content creation, we have a lot of ideas and we've got all of these things that we want to do and these things that we want to say, and we fall into this trap of posting only when this creative spark kind of hits us. And initially it works because we're really excited about being on the program. We're really excited about sharing our content. We're really, beyond excited about wanting to do this. And it seems like it's working. But then what happens is time happens, and our businesses happen, and life gets in the way, and the magic will quickly fade, just like anything else that you do in life. And then you will realize that the secret is not about waiting for your inspiration to hit you before you can post, your next amazing quote on Facebook, but the real secret lies in being consistent, is building this content habit. So instead of just waiting for inspiration to strike, I want you to think about all of the ideas and the suggestions that I have given you in today's video. I want you to think about how you can use them to cultivate a habit of consistent action. And if you can stay with this, if you can be frequent with this, if you can stay on top of this and use your habit tracker, whether it's a digital app or it's, just a calendar stuck up on your wall like I have, and you set yourself a publishing schedule that aligns with your capacity, you start creating content that resonates with your community, you start to see results, because it's not just a routine, it's a content habit. And it's a commitment to your growth as a content creator. And you will also see that it's a commitment to the growth of your business. So thank you so much for joining me today on this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to this channel. If you're ready to dig into the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, the link is below for you to subscribe to the Create Your Business program. With this, you will get an interactive workbook into your inbox every single month. You will get creative tools delivered to your front door, and you'll stop saying, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do with my marketing messages, And you'll work through this program and you'll start believing that you'll know what to do with coming up with your marketing, and you'll start to see results. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.